Hey guys, Danica Ferrante here from mybeautyscraps.com. I am very excited to be sharing with you another alternate card idea for your October 2016 paper pumpkin kit. I just love that it's shaker cards this month. Shaker cards are so fun and they're really easier to make than you think. If you've never made one before, you really should give it a try. They look like they're very difficult, but they're really not that hard. So I changed this card up from the original design that you'll see on the instruction sheet here. So I wanted to share with you guys how I did that. So in the kit, you get this piece with the die cut leaves, and I cut this down. So here you can see that makes the hole, but I already cut it down, and I cut it at 1 7/8. Is you want to make sure you still have enough room around the edges to put your adhesive. So the first thing you want to do is add your window sheet to this piece, and the kit came with that window sheet. So you can use liquid glue, you can use a tape runner, glue dots, really whatever. Glue dots came in the kit. I'm just going to use a little bit of my tape runner because it'll be quicker. And you just want to lay that window sheet right down. And then next you start building with the foam adhesive strips. Now these came in your kit too. So you start building little pockets to put those sequins in. The long strips fit perfectly across the top and the bottom. So that's where I start. Just with a full strip on the top and a full strip on the bottom. And then I started cutting up little strips to separate these sections. You could leave it open as one big square, but then when you shake your card around, the sequins are all going to fall to one side. This way your sequins can stay in each separate area. I even separated, since we got 3 different baggies with 3 different size sequins, I put my big sequins in this side and my medium sequins in there, and then my small sequins in the end. And I think that looked cute. So when I separate it, I want to stay close to the leaf so those sequins don't have very far that they can run away. So I just put one around that little leaf. One in between. So you're just building up little walls to keep those sequins contained. And after we put the sequins in, we're going to close them up using these little squares we got in the kit. But first I'm going to do my stamping on those squares. So we got the chocolate chip mini ink pad in the kit this month. I have the full-size ink pad, so I'm just going to use that because it'll be easier. And as you can see by how messy my grid paper is here, I've been playing quite a bit with this kit. Don't you just love that crackle? This is like my favorite stamp. I know I'm going to be using this long after I use up the kit contents. All right, so those pieces are all set. I'm also going to be bringing in one of the card bases that we got in the kit. So let's start building our shaker. So you want to make sure if you have any little bits of fluff or dust in there, it looks like I got some little pieces of baker's twine, that you get that all cleaned up so that it doesn't get trapped inside your shaker. So this is the way I'm going to be placing my shaker on the card. And let's start filling up the little areas with sequins. So you can mix up all 3 sizes of sequins in each pocket, really whatever you'd like. I'm going to just keep my sizes separate. So I'm going to put the big ones to the left. Oops, tried to run away. And then the medium sized ones will go in the middle. And the smallest ones will go on the end. And then I'm going to carefully remove the backing paper on those adhesive strips, because if your sequins start jumping around, they're going to get stuck in that adhesive. Okay, now we're going to close up each section using the pieces we stamped. So if you're looking at my example card, I used the same color tag next to that leaf. So the only one I really want to make sure is in a certain spot is the Cajun Craze. And I'm going to just lay that down. And here you can see it doesn't quite cover that area, but that's totally fine. It's going to cover the open area of the leaf. So we're just going to lay this next one down right next to it. And then finally the orange one, that's pumpkin pie, on the end. And if you're worried about any of the gaps there, you can always just add a little bit of Scotch tape or something. No one's ever going to see this side. Might be a little bit of overkill, but better safe than sorry. And then to adhere this down onto my card base, I'm going to be using a little bit of tear and tape because this has a little bit of heft to it. I want to make sure I'm using a really strong adhesive. You could also use glue dots. That is what we got in the kit. So I'm just going to put a strip of that along the back. But before I remove the backing to that adhesive, I thought it looked nice with a little bit more contrast. So I grabbed a piece of chocolate chip from my stash and I cut that down to be, I think 2¼ by 5½. So it goes across the whole card base. Oops, got some adhesive on my grid paper. So I'm just going to lay that down with a tiny border showing on the bottom. And before we put that shaker piece on, I want to work on this little tag. So I thought it was cute to stamp that in the crackle background so that it matched the leaf. The stamp doesn't cover the whole thing. You just want to make sure you get the top part. So that's all that's going to be showing. I'm just going to put a little bit of snail on the back of that. And we're going to use this as our guide so we make sure it's lined up with that leaf. And now we can remove our backing to the tear and tape. If one end is being a little stubborn, just try the other. This tear and tape is so sticky, sometimes it even sticks to the backing. All right, now we can just place that down. And I already pre-tied the bow, so you didn't have to watch me do that. And I am just going to use one of the little glue dots that came in the kit to attach that. So I'm just kind of scrunching it up so it's more of a line of glue than a circle. And squishing my bow right into that. And that way there's no adhesive sticking out from around the bow. It all gets hidden underneath the knot. The glue dot really helps to hold that bow in shape too, as well as in place. Now for the sentiment, I used the thank you that we got in the kit this month. I have it mounted to a clear block right here. And we're going to stamp that in chocolate chip also. I just pulled in a scrap piece of Very Vanilla from my stash to stamp that on. Oops, I got a little messy with that one. Still stamped well though. I'll just have to clean up that block. So I'm just going to bring in my paper trimmer and trim that down to a little strip. And then to cut the banner end, I like to use my duet, my triple banner punch. And I just kind of pull it through the back until I can see the stamp, and then kind of guesstimate how much I push backwards. And once it's lined up about even, just give a squeeze. Perfect. And you guys know I love my Stampin' Dimensionals, so let's use some of those to put this on there. There we go. How cute is that? I'm going to be sending these thank yous out to my new Paper Pumpkin subscribers this month. So if you'd like to subscribe to my Paper Pumpkin, there's a link in the description box below where you can sign up choosing me as your demonstrator. Also a link to contact me with any questions you might have. I hope you enjoyed making this card with me today. Stay tuned for my next alternate idea of ways to use this kit, because we're going to be making a card using the piece that we had left over. I know, a little teaser for next time. I'm really excited. I love the way the other card turned out, and I can't wait to share it with you. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any more fun crafty videos. Talk to you soon. Bye.